move by you.
And third,
what do you got?
I got this at a Cleveland Guardians postseason game in 2022. It's got a little postseason. Which camera?
What's it got?
Little postseason logo on it. Cheers.
Cheers to everybody. Got no clue if this is going to stay lit or not. All right, I can't hit that too many more times, or there won't be a show. There won't be a show. But for those that are wondering, yeah, it's a little dry, and it is working completely. So what do we talk about? I don't know. I've never been here before. I'm usually talking about July baseball games, whether they matter or don't matter. I had a screenshot saved, Nick, that I didn't really want to use today. If I was a bigger man, or I should say if I was a lesser man, I would have definitely pulled it out of my drafts today. But I decided not to because there was somebody that told me back when we played the New York Mets after the All-Star break. I don't know if you remember, but we played them right after the All-Star break, and we found a way to not be able to come back and win a very, very winnable game on getaway day in New York. And I was upset saying that in order to be able to catch this Mets team or be able to catch anybody in the postseason or that's going to make the postseason, it's going to take a special run. And somebody suggested to me and came at me pretty strong, suggesting that this was just a normal 1 of 162. And I got to tell you, if the Miami Marlins didn't find a way to win today, that would have been a pretty damning statement, considering the fact that would have been the differentiator, along with the Injabo trying to save game 1 of 162, along with Diaz having a broken cleat with the bases juiced right on the ropes with the chance to start the series off against the Mets, and you were incapable of winning that. And then all the other plethora of things that have happened. But you know what? We're 0-0. We're 0-0, and the Los Angeles Dodgers are 0-0. And that's the beautiful thing about baseball, Nick, is that the truth of the matter is it doesn't matter anymore. And that is the most unbelievable, damning thing that I have ever seen in a season, is that this team made the playoffs. And I'm not hopefully that it doesn't come off as like a negative thing. I'm just saying I am shocked. I am genuinely shocked. This feels like a massive upset. Season was dead, Nick. The season was dead, dude. I mean, we genuinely were at a spot at one point in this season where I understood everyone in the chat telling me that it was football season. I completely understood it. But you never say never, man. And you got to give these Redlegs credit. You got to give them all credit. And you know who needs more credit? And I hope that all the people that are listening, if you're a Reds fan and you have socials, we need to give Derek Johnson some freaking credit around here, okay? He does not get enough credit that he deserves. This baseball team has lived and died by the starting pitching all year long, and the pitching staff as a whole, and his name very rarely comes up. And I know what's going to happen in the national media. Tito Francona this, Tito Francona that, and I'm not downplaying his role, okay? I'm not trying to make this whether you like Terry or don't like Terry, whether you love Tito or you don't love Tito. This isn't about that. What it is that at some point, let's at least give Derek Johnson the major kudos he deserves, because I don't know anybody that has a group of men that have done more for their baseball team than what Derek Johnson's men have done this year. So that's all I wanted to say before we got into this whole entire topic of the Reds and the postseason and where it's going and what's going to happen. But unbelievable day to be a Reds fan. And I know there's going to be people that are like, oh, you won 83 games. Are you going to hang a banner? You know, listen, if you ain't been a Reds fan, just get the just take that nonsense and get out of here with it, okay? Yeah, I am going to celebrate the fact that we made the postseason with 83 wins, and I'm not going to feel sorry about it, Nick.
Team had a 1.3% playoff odds after they lost the first game of the series to the New York Mets on September 5th. That is one of the most improbable trips to the postseason ever. I don't know exactly how that stacks up, but that stacks up certainly. In 2021, the St. Louis Cardinals went on this crazy run to make the postseason. I think we all remember that. The Cardinals, devil magic, all that. The Cardinals playoff odds that was so improbable that they came back from were 2.8% at their lowest point in September. I mean, the Cardinals were at double better odds than this Reds team did. So Crazy run, yes. The Mets absolutely played a major hand into it, but this team also won 9 out of their last 13 games. They won a series in Milwaukee, something they hadn't done. They had lost 13 consecutive series. They beat Quinn Priester on Friday night, a guy that had won 19 consecutive games, and they had been dead 10, 15 times this year. And every time they found a way to get back up and give themselves a chance. And when you give yourself a chance, sometimes great things can happen, and a great thing happened to our favorite baseball team.
Yes, listen, I had this team dead, and so did every other rational person that has watched this team over the course of 162. Let's face it, there are times where you want to pull your hair out trying to watch this offensive team. There are times where you feel like maybe there's just no way in the world you can stack wins together when you have the inconsistencies that this team has. Sure, I believed all that, and I still hold that to be somewhat true. And yes, should you make the postseason by winning 83 games? Maybe not. But the reality is it just at this point, I'm just not going to get myself into a spot where I'm supposed to feel sorry about making the postseason. We're not going to do it. And listen, the box score recap, I say for today's purposes, it's probably the first show in the history of the shows right now that we don't really recap the game. It'll be in the podcast version for all of you that are listening right now. There is a podcast that comes out that is a little bit different, and I say a little bit. It's quite significantly different than this show in and of itself. So if you haven't, you can go to Apple, you can go to Spotify, you can go wherever you watch podcasts or listen to podcasts, I should say, and you can download it. We go live in the 9th inning of every single game, but we also have a podcast available each and every game thereafter. So it'd be ready for you in the morning. But nonetheless, I guess, Nick, if you kind of want to maybe just do some quick rundown or whatever you feel fit, but I kind of want to get into the nuts and bolts maybe of the day's game, and then maybe some of the decisions that we're going to try to find ourselves in as we move forward into LA.
Yeah, definitely not going to go through everything that happened, but we'll kind of give you the talking points for the show so you kind of know. Brady Singer started the game for the Reds, went 3 1/3, did give up 3 runs. Reds went to Nick Lodolo, kind of surprisingly. He threw an inning. Chase Burns threw an inning in a third, and then Scott Barlow and Connor Phillips finished it up. Reds offense, not much outside of the glorious bats of TJ Friedel and Ellie De La Cruz. Ellie De La Cruz, that's now 3 home runs for him, and I believe the last 2 weeks. But the Reds lose 4-1 to the Milwaukee Brewers. Reds finished the season 83-79. But the Miami Marlins pitching staff, Edward Cabrera, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, struck out 7 Mets batters. And then the Miami Marlins bullpen, how about 4 shutout innings in relief? The Mets, they tried. They threw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pitchers out there today, but it didn't matter because they could not score a single run. The $340 million New York Mets fall to Nick Krall's Cincinnati Reds in Game 162.
Unbelievable. This team had Garrett Hampson and Connor Joe playing the corner outfield spots at one time for this team. I got to tell you, it is unbelievable. What a remarkable turnaround it has been. And we have a DSC Deep Drive of the Day, as always, by Deep South Commodities. Craig can throw it up there now. TJ Friedel got into a baseball, 103.5 off the bat, 416 feet, sailed into the right field bleachers. That would give the Reds I think at the time, a 2-0 lead. Run probability would be 72%, and we all know it wind up being 0%, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know why? Because the Miami Marlins, they got it done. Who says that they don't have a great team? DSC, though, they are a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information, and thank you to our friends at DSC. As always, Omaha Steaks right now, they have a red hot sale event. You can get 50% off of site-wide, everything on there, omahasteaks.com. You can get an extra $35 off as well if you use the promo code Chatterbox. We had kind of teased this, Nick. We said, hey, might not be nothing better than having some steaks on the grill when some cool September air comes rolling in and you're watching some postseason baseball. Well, now's the time. Now's the time. Go to omahasteaks.com, use the promo code Chatterbox, and you can get $35 extra off, along with the 50% off right now for the red hot, appropriately named sale event. Well, how did we get here? Oddly enough, They didn't finish the deal today. It would have been maybe a little extra sweet if they were capable of doing it, Nick, because you'd have had the ability to see them celebrate, right? I'm assuming we're probably going to get a chance to maybe see some clips. Certainly, I don't know if the network's still showcasing the game right now or not, but there are no doubt that we're going to get to see some clips of it. But it would have been a little extra special, no doubt, if you kind of shut the door, if you will, on your own. Singer, for all intents and purposes, wasn't his best today, but I guess more or less, you only give up 4 runs. That's the crazy thing. It's not like you didn't have a chance to come back and win this game multiple times. We had debated, I guess would be the right word, live on air. What exactly was going on. I know that currently, if you want to go back and look, if you want to say it that, of the post-game celebrations, do so. I know Craig might have some of those dialed up or whatever, but nonetheless, I don't want to take any chances on somebody telling me that we have a copyright problem. But point is that should they have taken him out before and given Chase Burns a chance to strike out the 9-hole, get you out of the inning, and maybe this game goes a little bit differently? I don't know. But Singer's a guy we're going to have to trust moving forward, and I guess hopefully this was just a little bump in the road moving forward, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was 2 not his best starts this week. I don't think I would hold that against him. I still would have all the confidence. I mean, he obviously would not pitch again until the NLDS if you're able to take down the big bad LA Dodgers, but I'd have all the confidence for him in game 1 of an NLDS series. I think he's had an incredible year, and he's a massive reason why the Reds are in this spot. I mean, he took the ball every 5th day all year long, ends the season with a 4.03 ERA, and obviously the guy that he was traded for didn't have a good year, so it looks very good in retrospect from that perspective as well. But yeah, not his best effort. We talked about during the broadcast, just so many decisions today that just did not make sense. Why you would be so aggressive to use Nick Lodolo but not go get Brady Singer after he put a runner on second base when you already had Chase Burns warming, you had the bottom of the order, all right-handed batters. Feels like guys that would have had very little chance of having success off of Chase Burns versus seeing Brady Singer for a second or maybe third time at that point, probably second time.
Yep.
But yeah, there was a lot of decisions that didn't make sense, and I hope some of those decisions are cleaned up for the postseason, because whether you win or whether you survive or not, the decisions that were made today were flat out wrong.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing with this show, and that's the thing with this team and the decisions that have been made all year long. Is it's a really fine balance. It's a tough balance between, hey, I'm just glad they got it done. Like, yeah, I know that they didn't go out and theoretically win, and everyone's going to say, well, you backed in and all that. But we've already kind of gone over that 1,000 times, and I don't want to make it 1,001 about how we should feel about whether our favorite team's in the postseason because of they went out and got it or they didn't. I don't know, but I know that they are. He's going to have to pitch better for this team to do something special. I don't think that that's any breaking news to anybody that's watched him. As far as the decision-making in this game, there's a lot of things that happen in this game that don't make a whole lot of sense. And it's going to be, moving forward, probably the biggest thing is going to be the lineup decisions that have to be made. Because at this point, Nick, I think you treat it as a new season. I know during the regular season you kind of wanted to more or less try to make sure that you didn't rock the boat too much and make it feel like you're panicking or you're maybe trying to overreach for something. I got to be frank with you, Nick. I'm ready to pull the trigger on some risky moves because at this point it's like, let's just throw some Hail Marys out there and hope they stick. Whether that's moving Spencer Steer to second base, whether that's Sal Stewart taking a chance at second base, whether that's deciding that you're going to still stick with McLean there, but then that ultimately, in my opinion, makes it to where you can't play Cabrian Hayes at third base. It's just, and it's kind of like a domino effect here for me, and I know that's maybe not totally fair, but I just don't think that you're going to be capable of doing anything special when you have and Trevino can't play for the rest of the postseason as a starting. I don't care who's pitching or not. I don't care if the pitchers love Trevino or not. It's just you cannot have a lineup that has Trevino, Hayes, and McLean 7, 8, 9. It's a non-serious situation, especially when you have the guys sitting on the bench that we have that are capable of running into a baseball. You've seen it today, right? Like, we're not bringing it up because, or we're not making a huge deal about it because the Reds found a way to get in because of the Marlins. But if they were to lose today 4-2 like they did, and let's just say the Mets were to win, that has nothing to do with them, by the way, we would be talking about the decision of hitting Trevino, Hayes, and McClain with a guy on second base, right, with nobody out, and not being able to get that guy in a situation where you could have played add-on. And that is the ultimate million-dollar question. Brian Hayes, awesome guy to bring in the 7th inning maybe when you're up by a couple runs. No doubt about it. He's a little bit of he's certainly a little bit of a better version than Espinal, right? But I don't want to get it twisted. The difference between Espinal, McClain, and Hayes maybe isn't as drastic as we want to make it out to be at times. McClain, unfortunately, I'm with you, Nick. I'm not giving up on Matt McClain at all. At all. Like, is there a chance that he just needs to get healthy with the shoulder and it's just bugged him, and then all of a sudden that bled into his confidence, and then it's just snowballed into the season that he's had? That's what I'm hoping for. But I'm willing to find that out in 2026. Moving forward, I need to give guys a chance that are capable of running into some baseballs that might accidentally get hot at the right time and just absolutely carry you through what could be a postseason victory against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, is that likely? Some are going to say there's no chance of it. But I love our chances in a 3-game set. I don't love our chances in a 7-game set for obvious reasons. And one thing that did happen today, Nick, I like to say on the lineup per se, but one thing that did happen today that was a positive is that we did not use Hunter Green. And I think that was a major, major, major decision that needed to be made no matter what, is that we do not need to use him because we need him in L.A.
Yeah, I disagree with you a little bit in terms of I'm okay with Hayes and McClain starting. I don't have an issue. I think I'm probably on an island there. Trevino started 2 games as catcher for Brady Singer, and Singer gave up 4 earned runs in both starts. So
right,
it kind of hurts that narrative of that. I want Tyler Stevenson in the lineup. I also like. I'm not playing these bad defenders out in left field.
That's what I'm saying.
Just like
that's fair.
They don't pick one. They like play both sides of the aisle on it.
Right.
But a guy like Sal Stewart, I mean, he hits a home run yesterday. Like, he just has the upside. And Will Benson, I think, has the upside. And if you're going to beat the Dodgers, you're probably not going to beat the Dodgers with a bunch of bloop singles. And maybe they will. Maybe you get lucky and you do. But I think your chances of beating the Dodgers as you sneak a couple home runs out. Like the Reds did today. Like, the Reds faced really good pitching today. They hit 2 home runs, and that kind of gave them a chance. So, yeah, I definitely would pinch it, though, for Hayes and McClain when you're losing, though. Like, that's the thing. Like I'm not as far with you in terms of, like, I'm fine with them starting. But if you're behind, like, yeah, pinch hit for them. What are you giving up at that point? You're losing. Try to give yourself a chance. Those were the moves that made the least amount of sense to me, was the Reds' lack of caring about defense in left field, and then when they were trailing, not pinch hitting.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. If you're going to sit here and you're going to say that, hey, I like the idea of having Hayes and McClain in there for the obvious reasons that they can pick it and they can play good defense, and you're going to live with the whole defense and pitching mantra, okay, then you can't play Gavin Lux in left field. You can't play Spencer Steer in left field. That's where you completely lose me. Now, as I've said before, I've kind of watched this team long enough now to where I'd rather just go down swinging and take my chances with a team that I think might be able to have enough offensive firepower to compete with the Dodgers. I don't think you're going to be able to kind of like nicky-knack way you're around the postseason and try to win these 2-1, 1-0 games that they've found themselves winning from time to time this year. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they find a way to go out and win 1-0, 2-1. As long as they win, that's all I care about. But it just seems unrealistic to ask, especially when you run up against some of these lineups you're going to run up against in the postseason. It's just, again, I get the concept, I get the idea, but Matt McClain today, nothing. He's been nothing. He has not been the guy that we need him to be. And at some point, you got to make a move. And I just don't think a serious baseball team is going to have Matt McClain playing second base for them. Now, having said that, how could you go about putting people in the lineup that makes sense to replace him? I don't know. It seems like I will say this. It seems like Gavin Lux would be the guy that they would put at second base because they've done it before on multiple occasions now to try to make that happen. It did seemingly kind of felt obvious that on getaway day for a game that you had to have against the Pittsburgh Pirates that wasn't all that long ago, they did make that move. They decided to put Lux at second base and give McLean the day off. And now I know McLean got a chance to play again in Milwaukee. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. And I think that's maybe the biggest storyline moving into L.A. is Tito going to kind of just completely reassemble this offense, and will he completely reassemble the lineup to try to get them a chance? Does Ellie move up in the lineup? Does he decide to maybe move Marte down in the lineup? I don't know. I mean, there's there's a million ways you can go about it, but I got to tell you, I need Sal Stewart, and I need Andujar, and I need, quite frankly, at some point, if there's a right-handed pitcher, I need Will Benson, in my opinion, to get some opportunities because I think he's a good defender in the outfield as well. And for all of those that are sitting here acting like, the Reds, nothing changed. Something did change, Nick. I don't want to sit here and go on a tirade tonight about what changed, but they decided to start playing different guys. And you can go back and look. When they decided to start playing different guys, what happened to this team and when they started winning. And if you don't want to say that, and I'm not trying to suggest it was all one player, but the truth of the matter is that they made some adjustments in the outfield, and it worked out. And ultimately, we'll see if they're capable of doing anything in the postseason. But the fact that they got there is an absolute, I'll call it a miracle because that's how I feel. And the truth is that I think that they're going to have to take a risk, man. Like I just don't think that you're going to be able to line up behind center here and hand the ball off up the middle 3 times and expect to be able to get first downs continually from a football perspective analogy here against these high-profile teams like the Dodgers.
Yeah, I do think that the defense was a reason why the Reds are still playing. I think that it goes unnoticed a lot, but the Reds went from one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball defensively to a team that was average for most of the year. And then of late, in the month of September, the Reds were +6 outs above average. That ranks 6th in Major League Baseball. The New York Mets, who just got eliminated, were at -1. So I do think the defense matters in that. For me, like I'm okay sacrificing defense a little bit for guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. I have a hard time sacrificing defense for Gavin Lux, who has a 106 isolated power. Like that's where I really have a difficult time sacrificing defense. But like you play a game today, Trace, and a stat that just is completely powered. It's called isolated slugging. It literally isolates your power. The Reds' top 4 players, 3 of them sat on the bench today. Now, Sal Stewart and Will Benson. Sal Stewart's number 1, far and above everyone else. Very small sample. Will Benson's number 2. Andujar's number 3. Stevenson is number 4. Like, that's the chances I want to take. So I think we disagree a little bit on who should play. But I like Stewart and Benson, I think, should be in there. Stewart probably especially. But Benson's a good defender, too. Like, Benson kills 2 of those birds with 1 stone. He's a guy that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. And he's a guy that can play good defense and save you runs, too. That's why I have a hard time. And I get Gavin Lux has had some big hits, and I get Gavin Lux is an experienced guy. It's just like there's so many moves that it is a tough call in some ways. But for me, it's hard to go down leaving guys on the bench that I know can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Yeah, and listen, we're gonna find ourselves in a spot where you're gonna have to do some pinch hitting in the postseason. The good news is that you have you basically have what is expanded rosters. You've already brought this up multiple times because you don't need as many guys on the staff, pitching staff.
Singer's not going to be on the roster either. I don't think.
You're just saying from an unavailability standpoint that you don't think that.
Well, the series is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like, I don't even think you put him on the roster. That's another roster spot that you have.
Yeah. Well, my point in saying this is that you're going to get opportunities to pinch hit from a platoon perspective, right? I always felt like the reason that maybe Will Benson doesn't get as many opportunities is because they're concerned about the idea that, maybe in the 3rd inning that they come in and they have a huge spot, and then all of a sudden in a postseason or maybe even the regular season they come out and they throw a left-handed pitcher. But the oxymoronic thing about that is today Gavin Lux gets a chance to hit against left-handed pitching where he's been abysmal, and then all of a sudden you like to think that Austin Hayes wasn't available because he hasn't been available for the past 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden he is available and he plays left field. So it's just, again, it doesn't. There's just not a lot of logic here, and that's fine. It's just kind of like I'm gonna let the results completely tame my thought process on how well we're doing when it comes to making decisions from a lineup perspective and who plays and who doesn't. Is that the right way to manage? Is that the right way to go about making decisions in life or being able to hold opinions or perspective on things? No, terrible. You wouldn't get very far if you behaved in that manner. But that's the way I'm going to treat it, because I'm just tired of I guess where I'm at is this. I've gotten beat down so much this year about all these people basically saying that, there's just negativity, this, negativity, that. My favorite team just got to the postseason for what is the first time in a while. It's the first opportunity yet again in my lifetime that I can remember them to actually advance in the postseason. I'm extremely excited, and I'm happy about it. But I'm also going to openly say that, yeah, a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense. And you know what? I'm hoping and praying that when we run out game 1 against the Dodgers, we don't have automatic outs at the bottom of the lineup. I don't know if that's too much to ask, but that's where I'm at. And I say this: I am willing to risk that for the chance of getting burned on some defensive play happening. And I'm willing, and I guess what I'm saying is I know that. But we're also risking a guy in left field not making a play because we want to put him in the lineup. So if we're going to do that, we view it the exact same way. We just view it in opposite ways. Like you're saying, hey, I'll live with the defense because that just seems like what we're capable of doing. I'm saying, well, I'll live with the fact that we might make an error or two in the field when I just can't believe that we're going to find a way to win games in this manner. Like today is a perfect example. We scored 2 runs today. In the Pirates series, we scored 1 run, 2 runs, 2 runs? Is that right? I don't remember. But it wasn't. I mean, I just don't know how you win in the postseason against the Dodgers doing that. But like I said, I'll happily be wrong again. People are going to say I was already wrong. I called him dead. I did call him dead. But it seems illogical to not put some of these guys in the lineup that might be able to hit the ball over the fence.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think with Hunter Green, man, I do think you can win a game 2-1. Like, I do think it's possible. So, yeah, we disagree a little bit on that. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter what we say because I think we all know what the lineup will be on Tuesday.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I don't usually do the super chats, and Chin Yoon says, Trace and Nick complaining about power on a team that can't get on base. Look at the Mets. They hit bombs. They're not in the playoffs. Yeah, they have like 7 or 8 guys that are on the IL who are pitching. They pitched 8 guys today. I get they got shut out. But, like, if we're going to sit there and act like the Mets lineup is the reason why they scuffled down the stretch and couldn't make the postseason, did you watch what they did in Chicago? They were winning games 10-4, 11-6. Like, just maybe I shouldn't entertain those illogical comments. But my point in saying all this is it realistic to expect to go into L.A. and win the way that this team has tried to win all year long? It seems like it's a different game now. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say. There's 162, and then now there's a 3-game set. How do you want to go about it? We shall find out.
I do think, though, to that point, I don't think that this fan base is given enough credit to how dominant this pitching staff is and how it was assembled and the work that they did to assemble it. I don't think they've put enough stock into the massive improvements defensively that coincides with that success defensively. I mean, the New York Mets had a $340 million payroll and couldn't assemble a pitching staff that was even remotely close to as good as the Cincinnati Reds. So that's the reason the Reds are still standing. Like, every part of your team building counts. So, like, just because maybe the most exciting part the Reds didn't do a very good job at, don't discount the job that they did assembling the rest of it, because that's why they're still standing right now.
No doubt. And listen, we've been healthy as well, knock on wood, but that's been a very fortunate thing that has happened for this team as well, is that they have found a way to stay healthy pretty much for the entirety of the season. And yes, I know Hunter Green missed some starts. I know Nick Lodolo has his kind of flare-ups from time to time, but from a holistic view, that this team has done a very good job of staying healthy from a starting pitching and also bullpen perspective, that has allowed us to save the day. And you know what? It is what it is now, but moving forward, we'll see what ultimately happens. And I know this, like you said before, it's house money. I 100% believe that. I of course, am going to be heartbroken if they can't find a way to get it done in L.A. and get us over the proverbial hump that we have not been able to get over since 1995. I've heard it 1,000 times, and 1,000 more times will come if they're incapable of winning the series against the Dodgers. But they just it just seems impossible that they found themselves in the spot. So now I'm just kind of feeling great about it. And maybe that's what's making me a little more relaxed on the idea of throwing a bunch of guys out there that might be able to hit the ball but can't play a position, because I already feel like we're playing with house money. So it's like, let's run a couple trick plays. Why not? That's where I'm at. But nonetheless, just want to say, 988 been a supporter of this program all year long, and they can be a supporter of you in a time of crisis. Please text or call 988 day or night. It's an anonymous hotline. If you are not feeling well or a loved one perhaps might need some help, it's okay to not be okay. You can also visit mantherapy.org to get help as well. Once again, you can text and or call 988 and visit mantherapy.org to get help. We obviously have some super chats, and they are coming in the droves, Nick. We will get to the wild card rotation here in just a second, and of course the roster in and of itself, and then I can't believe it, but we'll talk about the Dodgers in just a bit as well. I know usually we throw these up on the screen. Otherwise, Craig, I will just start ripping from the very top. I don't know where we stopped last. Let's see here. Did you get Reese Rogers? Diaz is done. Things on the road. We did do that one. Please like the stream. They deserve it. Thank you. Kyle Craven says, he already said we got that one as well. Scott also mentioned the back end. I think we talked about that. I'm going to read it just in case. But Scott said, folks have to stop using the phrase backed in. There's no backing in. There's people sitting at home. I know you mentioned this already, Nick. And there are people playing baseball in October. Doesn't matter. And if a big win happens in game 162 or 161. That's right. They all count the same. And we had plenty, Scott, of opportunities this year where the ball didn't bounce our way. Okay, that's a fact. Mike Dean, also, the whole call stands thing. We didn't even get into that, but we glossed over that in this game. I don't know how in the world New York overturned that call earlier in the game, and that would have been a big out. But anyway, Mike Dean says, Tito needs to take a baseline dementia. You already mentioned that. Where are we at right now? Why am I struggling to find out where we stopped at? Noah Downing says, LMAO, I can't wait to watch the Reds go 18 innings. You already said that one. Dyke Jones, Scott Barlow. Dyke Jones says Scott Barlow with a clutch out against Yelich. You got to love the heart and grit Barlow plays with. Well, he needs to showcase more of that clutch grit gene here a little bit. Barlow did get out of that jam, Nick. We were a little concerned about that, but he did, so you got to give him some credit there. Hasn't been great of late. We'll talk about the roster construction here in a minute. I'm sure Barlow's name will come up. But Flat Rock 79 says, you guys have been so great this year. Thank you. Thank you, Flat Rock. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody that has given us support all year long. Mott Fish Flake says, let's go Marlins. Here we go again. Says he's at the Marlins game. Decent chunk of red shirts. You've already said that one. I don't know how many of these. We might just be reiterating all of these, but nonetheless, we appreciate your super chats. So you're getting them twice. Chris Kyle says, the stream's been great today. Was hoping for a Reds win. It's been a joy watching with you all. Thank you, Chris. It's been a joy doing this, to be honest with you. I mean, you do this each and every single day. You never know what's going to come of it at the end. There are moments of depressing times of doing this show, if we're being completely frank, this year, but we're at the mountaintop right now. Stacy Meyer says, thank you for this whole season. Let's go Marlins. Dyke Jones says, playoffs. Flat Rock 79 says, holy Toledo. I think this is about when we got that double play. Savo says, light up the cigar trace. We did do that. I'm going to try to get this thing really going here in a minute when I can get outside, and I hopefully can keep my wife, considering one more time, shout out to all of everybody that helps us out and does these shows, their families, our wives, Craig's wife, Nick's wife. She's obviously, they have a bunch of kids running around now at home. My wife got 3 kids. Doing this on every single night it's a lot, and I just want to say thank you to our families, to be completely honest. Ned Flanders said, never in doubt. Oh, no, here we go again. Said, I need to stay late at the game to get the Marlins to sign a ball to put in the Reds Hall of Fame. That's funny. Ned Flanders says, never in doubt. Well, except for the entire season until the last freaking out. Does Omaha Steaks also ship to San Go Reds. I can't help you with that. Don't know, Ned. Lisa Reed with a $5 super chat just because. Shredda 2000 said, this is for the 1999 New York Mother. You know what? This is a kid show, my friend Shredda. Yeah, There is that. Crunky, your Cincinnati Reds are playoff bound. Michael Hart said, didn't have crying on an airplane on my bingo card. Go do something special. Shout out Trace and Nick for the whole stream. Shout out to you, Mike. You've been helpful very much all year long. Campbell Smith said, my grandpa passed away a month ago. We bonded over the Reds. Till the very end. This is for him. Shout out to you, Campbell. Shout out to your grandpa, and shout out to the Reds, man. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of meaningful things that the Cincinnati Reds are to a lot of people, and certainly having family connections to that is a big deal. And, you know, people wonder why we get emotional on this show, why we scream and yell, why we care so much, and I can't emphasize how much this show and more or less being a fan of this team and trying to cover it the best you can, how much time, effort, and energy goes into that, and it's a lot. And then to be rewarded like this at the very end is very, very meaningful, and hopefully they get it done in L.A. But you're never going to forget the 2025 Reds if you watch them on a daily basis just because of how ridiculously crazy it was. Anquila the Great. Terry did the forgettable. Luckily, the Mets didn't. They collapsed harder than Terry forgot it was game 162 and not game 16. But we are in. That we are. Anquila the Great. Victor Van Home with a $20 super chat. Congratulations, Reds fans. Thanks to Trace and Nick for your passion all season. Finally, Cincinnati has something to celebrate. Yes, they do. Putrid Talent says, ATOBTTR, hell yeah. We are in the... I'm trying to make sure we're doing a kid show here. We are in the mother-loving postseason, boys. Postseason, Sun, C-Box content incoming. Time to ignite the season. Oh, man. We did it. I can't believe we're there. And Midwest says, thank you, Marlins and Chatterbox. Flatrock79 says, thank you, guys. All of you. Your friends who do the pre-games, the guys who do the weekend games. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Flat Rock. Noah Downing says, Trace, don't smoke it like weed. Puff it. I don't know. What do you want me to do, man? First of all, are you saying I smoke weed? Because I don't. Are you saying I smoked it like I smoke weed? I didn't smoke weed, so I don't know what you're talking about, okay? Never did it, never done it, never have heard about it, actually. Alex Binyaz Harris says, Miami Nutcutters, I will be at game 1 in L.A., LFG. That's big time, Alex. That's big time. We are going to wrap these supers up here, and then we'll get to some more at the very end because my brain is going to be absolutely mush if I go through any more of these right now. Here we go. Swaggy Plague says, here's some cheddar for Trace to head to Canada and pick up some Cuban cigars for the next celebration. Well, the good news is I got a whole box full, so we're covered for a while. Tim Barnes says, haven't been this pumped for the Reds in years. And DK used to be the big helmet or the big whatever it was, Viking helmet guy, Big C. Do you feel the rain on your skin? Trace and Kirby. Do you feel the rain on your skin? Do you, Nick? Because I feel it. It's been a long time coming. Back in 2023, we had a thing going there. Little Bedingfield. Natasha Bedingfield, I believe. Yeah. Am I going to sing it right now? No. But I'm thinking it. Stuck in a Bucket says, shame we didn't win today, but I'm thrilled to see that we made the playoffs. Went to the Germantown Pretzel Fest and saw so many people in Reds jerseys. That's going to be the best part, Nick, about all this, man, is that this town turns into it just turns into such a better town when the Reds are winning, and it's such a glorious thing. I'll say this, Nick. I went to the final home game of the regular season, obviously, on Thursday. And they're going to have to, if they find a way to win this series, Nick, they're going to have to do some ordering back there for Great American Ballpark. They were out of almost every single damn near concession food that you could possibly think of on the last day. I'm like, hey, guys, I mean, I know it's the 5th inning of the last game, but we're out of peanuts. We're out of popcorn. We don't have any, we don't have any snacks available. What are we doing? Somebody made a decision down there at Great American Ballpark that they were going to cut off the ordering for all of these things, and they were like, hey, we're not going to have that many people there here in a week, but here they come. Packed GABP, well, they ran right out of all the goods, so hopefully they get on it here soon. And we just got some super bombs coming from Mike Krause. I'll get to Mike Krause in a minute. Mike, thank you very much. I know you've been a supporter of the show from the very, very beginning. You guys are unbelievable. There's so many good super chats. I need a break, Nick. I don't know if you want to continue with the super chats or if you want to jump into some real content here, but
I can pick them up.
I gotta tell you, my brain's gone.
All right, sorry, I was trying to be a little bit informed, with the Dodgers and where they're at. So try to do a little bit of research. We could have some topics here at the end. I saw you got Viking guy.
We're Jack Sponseller. Jack Sponseller says they did it, baby.
Okay, I got it from here. All right. They did it, baby. Thank you guys so much for doing the show every night, whether it was you guys or the other crew, even though it was through the worst games. They aren't done yet, baby, and this one belongs to the Reds. Samuel George, crying tears of happiness, had one armpit hair the last time we were in the real playoffs, and now I live in an apartment with the view of the stadium. Nobody kills the Cincinnati Reds. Noah Downing says, Matt out here acting wild, taking his shirt off and popping champagne like he accomplished something. Pretty sure he's the first player in the history to celebrate failing this hard. 1.3 wins above replacement says otherwise, Matt. Charlie White, 99 cents, just saying thank you. Appreciate you. Flat Rock, Reds, Bengals, FC Cincinnati, the Ohio State Bearcats, and Kentucky. I think that's the Rally House jingle, right? Yes. Charlie White, 199, just appreciating. And then we got a $100 bomb from Mike Krause. God bless the Miami Marlins and God bless Nick and Trace. Hashtag house money. Yeah, that's the mindset. House money. The Dragon's Beard couldn't have done it without Candy and Buddy LaRosa. Shout out to you guys.
I forgot. Buddy LaRosa. Buddy LaRosa, baby. Get him a ring.
Can't believe we didn't have him on the graphic. Mike Dean, Tito has his shirt off. Wait, no, that's Big Sugar. All right. It's crazy things going on the Red stream, apparently. Adam Eaton, $10 super chat. Been fun watching this bizarre season with you guys. Excited to hear Kirby talk about Blake Dunn and Reese Hines in a bit. And this one belongs to the Reds. Kind of. All right, we're caught up. We'll maybe do some more at the end if anyone more pops through.
Yeah. Hey, listen, my favorite thing now is going to be my favorite thing about the whole situation at hand. There's going to be so many people that think they got me. Like, oh my gosh, we got him. Do you remember? He was telling us that the season was dead. Yeah, you didn't watch. You haven't watched this team play in 3 weeks. You turned the TV on this week. You watched the last 6 games, and now you're going to tell me, oh my God, I believed all along, baby. I'm here. I was him. I was the guy that believed all along. Did you? Did you really? Because if you did, I got news for you. I don't believe you. I think you're full of it. Because if you have half a brain, there's no chance in the world you thought this was going to happen. 83 wins. 83 wins. Got us into the postseason. The Mets at the All-Star break had 55 wins, Nick. 55. It doesn't matter, though. I'm going to have to do a very, 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 very hard look in the mirror and understand there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be very, very resentful. They're going to hate the idea that somehow, some way, so many of us called the season dead and we were wrong and we get to watch the postseason. I'm not going to feel bad about it. Not even a single second. Not even a single second. I'm going to eat it up. I'm going to watch every damn pitch like I believed in all these guys all along. Because you know what? I bet you were buying your postseason NLDS tickets when they were sending those emails out 3 weeks ago. Show me the ticket stubs when Garrett Hampson and Connor Joe were playing the corner outfield spots. Show me when we had Brent Suter and Buddy LaRosa coming in trying to get big left-handed bats out. Show me when you thought Taylor Rogers was a guy that you believed in. And if his name's Taylor, it's Trevor, because I don't remember what his name is because he was a bum. And the reality is you know what? We are here, and I'm not going to complain about it. But if you think for a single second that I trust anybody telling me that they believed in this thing all along, give me a break. Give me a break. All right, there's your rant of the day. Wild card rotation, here we go. At this point, I don't totally know what game 2 and 3 is going to totally look like, Nick, because of, I don't know whether, I guess it's Andrew Abbott, but you tell me what you think is going to ultimately happen for your Red Legs here in the wild card round.
Well, apparently they said on the broadcast that this would not impact Lodolo, that he would be ready for game 2. I guess this was a throw day type situation. where they feel like he's still capable. I think he was only at 81 or 82 pitches in his last start, so he wasn't necessarily pushed. So yeah, I mean, it's obviously Hunter Green in game one. I would assume, if I'm doing the math right, Abbott pitched yesterday. What is that? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He still wouldn't be on normal rest till Thursday. So I'm assuming it is Green, Lodolo, Abbott. If it's not, it's a bullpen game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I hope he's available. But, bullpen games aren't going to be as difficult to I guess, to swallow, if you want to call it that, if you believe in Nick Martinez's of the world and you believe in the Chase Burns of the world, right? I mean, those are two quality arms that you can trust and rely on, and then ultimately from there you're going to have some guys that you've put a lot of faith in all year long in Santiago and Pagan. So I don't know what ultimately it's going to wind up being, but the biggest one's winning game one. I would like to put the pressure on the Dodgers, because if you can find a way to win game one, it just feels like, the town, the media, the narrative, all of these things they're gonna quickly shift, and there's gonna be immense amount of pressure on them. If you find a way to not be able to win game one, then I think that kind of just that all goes away. And in order to beat the Dodgers, in my humble opinion here, I think that you're going to have to get in the minds and the heads of those guys. Like, they're going to have to probably try to press a little bit. They're going to have to try to probably play outside of what they're capable of doing. And you hope to find a way to just, I'll say it, I mean, get a little bit lucky. But we'll see ultimately what ends up happening.
This team's has won some series against some really good teams. I know they didn't play well against the Dodgers. I'm aware of that. Although they actually had a couple games won and gave them away against the Dodgers. But they've won some big series. So, yes. Are the Reds heavy underdogs? Yes. Should they be heavy underdogs? Yes. But it's baseball and anything can happen. And you have an incredible ace to go in game one that can completely flip a series on its head. For the Dodgers, they haven't set their rotation, but it sounds like they'll be going with 3 out of the 4 out of Tyler Glasnow, Shohei Ohtani, Blake Snell, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. It sounds like Clayton Kershaw will not even be on the roster. They would keep him back for the NLDS if they are fortunate to get past the Cincinnati Reds. Which, honestly, I'm kind of like, I know like Kershaw's not been one of their best, but he has dominated the Reds throughout his entire career. The Reds don't hit lefties. So I kind of think that might be a mistake, but maybe they line this up thinking they were just going to be playing the Mets. Like, that's probably was part of the calculus to this. So, I mean, those are all really, really good pitchers, but I don't think any of those pitchers are better than Hunter Green on Hunter Green's best day.
No, we got a huge advantage game one with Hunter Green in the sense that I think that he's one of the best pitchers, if not the, I don't want to say the best pitcher because we watched what Paul Skeens is capable of doing, but he's up there, and he has the ability to give you a chance to go out there and win 1-0, and we'll see if we're capable of doing that. I know we're putting a lot of pressure on the starters. I know that we're putting a lot of pressure on the bullpen, but that's really what's gotten us to this point that even gave us a chance to win 83 games this year. We have quite literally, you could make a pretty solid case that they have the best pitching staff in all of Major League Baseball from an output perspective. So here we are, unbelievable. And I guess from here moving forward, ultimately we'll find out what the Reds decide to do. And we'll probably get a little more intel, I would hope, tomorrow in the off day on maybe what they decide to do. I don't think that they'll probably be able to keep it too hush-hush. If I had to guess, somehow there'll be a little bit of a rumor from somewhere that will come. But maybe not. Maybe they'll keep it completely on the DL, down low, and we'll see what comes of it. But wild card roster, you've been mentioning this for quite some time, Nick. What they decide to do with some guys, who comes up? Does Blake Dunn get a chance to maybe make the postseason roster just because he can steal a bag when you might need it the most? Does he come in as a defensive replacement? Do you see guys like Reese Hines make an appearance where you think that, hey, we just need a guy that comes off the bench that might accidentally run into a baseball and give you a chance? It's going to also be interesting to see what they do from the roster standpoint.
Yeah, I think basically you will have 2 additional position players than you would because you have an extra one right now because of September rosters. But the Reds will gain 2 more position players because they'll probably go down to 11 pitchers. Some teams do 10. I would imagine the Reds do 11. They go a little bit more on the conservative side with pitchers, just because I don't think the Reds have a whole lot of players that they're desperate to get on the offensive on the roster from a position player standpoint. So yeah, I think that the Blake Dunn, Rhys Hines, maybe they could also, a guy like Will Banfield could also get put on the roster to have a third catcher. So he might be a sneaky guy that get on there. If I was betting, I would say Dunn and Banfield are the 2 guys that sneak on the roster. Just it doesn't really seem like Tito's all that interested in what Rhys Hines has to offer.
Is it insane to think that Will Banfield has a chance to make the roster as a third catcher, and we didn't trust him to catch 3 outs in a baseball game? Yeah. Just a couple weeks ago, we didn't trust him to catch 3 outs in a baseball game. We didn't want to pinch run for Trevino, and it wound up biting us right in the tail. But that's here nor there. All right, it'll be interesting to see what happens. As far as moving forward, we do have the Dodgers next. Let's do a little quick who, what, when, where, and why. I just want to encourage everybody, please go listen to the podcast tomorrow. It's probably going to be something that's going to have maybe a little more fine-tuned information in it. But nonetheless, Nick, off the top of your head here, best that you can do with the who, what, when, where, and why.
Well, yeah, a little TBD versus TBD. We do know that both games on Tuesday and Wednesday will be at 9:08. I believe that they said they're going to announce, I think, the time on Thursday later tonight. I'm assuming that is going to be a contingency one. The Reds probably will be 9:08 if there's 4 games still on Thursday, but they'll probably move it up to 8. That would be my guess. Unless there's some other contingency. But if they're putting them on 9:08 on Tuesday and Wednesday, they'll probably be then, which is great times for me and Trace for sure, 9:08. So that's very generous of that. The only other roster note, assuming Singer is not on the roster, which it would make no sense to put him on the roster because he would have to pitch on short rest on a game 3 situation. So I would just think they'll leave him off the roster. They would have him penciled in to start on Saturday if the Reds are able to move on to face the Philadelphia Phillies. So really, in my opinion, it probably comes down to the two remaining spots in the bullpen. I'm assuming, obviously, guys like Padon, Santillan, Ashcraft, Phillips, Burns, Martinez are on the roster. Probably comes down to 2 spots in the bullpen for Littell, Barlow, Maxwell, and Suter. 2 of those 4 guys are on. The fact that Scott Barlow pitched today makes me think he probably has a pretty good chance. My guess would be Barlow and Littell are the 2 guys. The Reds haven't used Zach Maxwell in a long time. I just have a hard time believing he's going to get on the roster, and Brent Suter is just, quite honestly, just not one of their best pitchers. That would be my guess. Would you have any qualms with that, Trace?
No. At this point, Nick, I just want to say that the playoff percentage chance to make the playoffs is 100%. I just looked it up. And I want everybody to know that that's the official line. And to win the World Series, I know that has been discussed before. It is almost the identical percentage that the chances of the Reds that they had to make the postseason just a few weeks ago. 1.8%. So some of you might think that that's little to no chance.
That's higher. That's a whole 0.5% higher than it was on September 5th.
Some are saying there's little to no chance of that. But I just want to remind everybody and tell everybody that let's just do a quick date. You want to pick a random date for me, Nick? Let's just go. Why not? Let's just go August 20. Let's go. Let's just do September 1st. Why not? September 1st. For those that are wondering, your Cincinnati Reds. Where are we at here? There we go. Your Cincinnati Reds chance to make the postseason? 4%. 4%. And now we got a 2% chance. Yes, I'm rounding up. 2% chance to win the World Series. So never say never. Anything is possible.
Yeah, the Reds are plus 205 to win the series against the Dodgers. I mean, that's not crazy.
Bad. That's not bad.
I mean, that's lower than the parlay today that would have got them out of the playoffs, right?
Correct. There's a better chance that the Dodgers, based off the sports books, there's a better chance that the Reds will beat the Dodgers in the postseason round than the Reds not making the playoffs today. Now, to be fair, the Reds didn't make the playoffs.
Plus 205
The
is
Reds
not
did make
that
the playoffs,
crazy.
obviously.
I think the Reds are by far the biggest underdogs in any of the series, but plus 205 is plus 205. Game 1 is Reds are plus 143, Dodgers minus 176 is what we're seeing right now. We have a World Series. The Reds have the worst odds to win the World Series at plus 3,500, Guardians at plus 3,000. But hey, you're in the dance. You beat the Dodgers. I bet those odds shoot up quite a bit.
I would say so. And you know what? We get the chance to have a memorable end to this season, right? It could have ended today, and it would have been just disgusting, and we would have thought about all the different opportunities that this team had to get to the postseason. And the reality is we don't have to worry about that anymore. And it's nice to know that we get to watch more baseball coming, what will be on Tuesday. Tuesday night, we will be here. I think, Nick, we've already made the decision here to do basically watch these games live with everybody like we did today. So come along, enjoy the ride. We'll get synced up and make sure that there's no surprises on either of our ends, and then you can sync it up as well. Why not? And just enjoy the game with us, and hopefully we can find a way to do the unthinkable of a national perspective, of course. I think that the Reds clubhouse thinks that they're playing with house money right now, and so are we. Speaking of house money, I want to let everybody know, please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That would mean a lot to us. I want to run through these last supers. Nick, do you have anything to add before we kind of fade off into the sunset? Please go download the podcast tomorrow. Not like, but give us a review if you haven't. That would mean a lot to us. If you could give us a 5-star review, that would also help us significantly in the algorithms and all the 9 yards that the computers like. So we appreciate your support very, very much, and we really want to reemphasize that again. At least I do. Nick puts a lot of time, effort, and energy in these podcasts, and I know people may not know that exists. So please, on the other side of the aisle, go and find Chatterbox Reds in podcast form and check that out. Nick, anything to add? I'm gonna run through these supers here real quick.
Yeah, just the games are on ESPN Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm assuming Thursday hasn't been announced, but it would be on ESPN as well. So Reds first time they'll be on ESPN all year. So that's kind of cool, I guess. ESPN's last year covering Major League Baseball. So the Reds will be and the ESPN only does the wild card series, so that the Reds could potentially, if they're alive, it could be the last ESPN Major League Baseball game. We'll have something podcast video wise probably up Tuesday morning, maybe scheduled like 7 a.m. Obviously not going to go do any sort of live show talking about the preview in the series tomorrow because the other team in town plays, and there'll be all kinds of great coverage on Chatterbox Bengals. So the goal, if everything aligns after I go upstairs and make sure no one killed each other, will be to have something on Tuesday morning for you guys bright and early to preview that, and then we'll see you about 9 o'clock on Tuesday night.
That's right. All right, let's run through them. I don't know. I know you did Flat Rock there. Charlie White, thank you for the super. Mike Krause said, God bless the Miami Marlins and God bless Nick and Trace. # house money. Thank you, Mike. The Dragon Beard said, couldn't have done it without Candy and Buddy LaRosa. You already said these. Where did we get any new ones? Did I miss anything?
Yeah, there's definitely some new ones.
All right.
Let me see if I can find it.
Adam Eaton said, been fun watching the bizarre season with you guys. Excited to hear Kirby talk about Blake
I got
Dunn.
that one.
Right.
Sean Krupka is the first one that I did not do.
All right. Sean Krupka says, what a day for Cincinnati. Sure beats last night when Trace's dogs ruined my parlay. I apologize for that. And I also will tell you that was tough to do when I was over there trying to watch both. But you know what? The Reds, they made up for it today, and we found ourselves in the postseason. So shout out to the Miami Marlins yet again. Noah Hamilton. I like our chances going to L.A. after already being on the road as opposed to getaway day after a long homestand. Mott Fish Flake says, thank you for reading my super chat twice. Here's a little extra. If Al Leiter's watching, I forgive you and your cut fastball. Yeah, Al Leiter broke some hearts. And you know what? I'm hopeful that we finally can get it done in L.A. That would be unbelievable. Unbelievable. But for us, we have been on air, Nick, for almost 4 hours. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you've done for us and everything that we will continue to try to do. Thank you to Craig for being behind the scenes for hours where nobody even knows he's there. Thank you to Mike and Corey and Eric and Andrew, and I'm going to miss people, but every single person that did the pregame shows all year long. I don't know how many hours of Reds content we did this year, but I can tell you right now that it was an insane amount, and I'm not going to feel sorry about anything I said because everything I have said, I meant it from the bottom of my heart. I've never tried to, one time on this show, be disingenuous and maybe that's why people like it. And if that's the case, I'll continue to happily be wrong if I call a season dead when they have a 4% chance to make the postseason. And maybe next year we don't ever wind up with a 4% chance. But I'll tell you this, if we ever wind up with another chance that says 4%, you know what I'm going to do, Nick? I'm going to look everybody in the face and I'm going to say, season's dead. The season's dead. And I hope it works again. It wasn't my plan, but I'm happy to be wrong. Take care, everybody. We love you. We appreciate you. Go Reds. And we'll see you, what will be, on a glorious, glorious Tuesday night in Los Angeles. Take care, everybody. We love you. We appreciate you. Go Reds.